So my name is Ian Hall. I work in the telecom sector for Ericsson, a big telecoms company. I started the digital leadership program back in November of last year, 2021. One of the reasons that I was looking to do a program like the Digital Leadership Diploma was in the industry that I work in. It's a very fast-moving industry, and it's a very disruptive industry. The knowledge that you learned yesterday is gone by today or by tomorrow. From that point of view, it's always very, very important to keep up with all the various things that are happening in the tech industry. When I looked at this particular program, I felt that there was a lot that I could benefit from gaining from this type of a program. What I wanted to really look at was digital leadership, and within our telecom sector, our customers are going through an awful lot of digital transformations. The whole industry is going through a lot of digital innovation, a lot of digital transformation. And I felt I probably didn't have enough information. I didn't have enough insights, enough tools in order to be able to spot new opportunities and to continue to compete with all the various competitors that we have in this very, very fast moving industry. So one of the things that I felt was important when I was doing this particular program was to try and learn new insights, new research, new ways of looking at the same problems that we have within the industry. I think that as you get older and as you progress through your career, it's very easy to fall into the same traps of applying the same techniques and applying the same frameworks. And one of the things that I got out of this program was to learn actually new methods, new frameworks that I could apply in my career and also in helping us compete with our competitors in this industry. One of the things that I felt was really interesting in this program for me was the idea of working with all of the other participants of the program. I come from the telecom sector, and there were many others in the program from the tech sector. But I think that what was really interesting and what was very collaborative was the fact that there was an awful lot of other industries represented throughout the program. For example, there were participants from retail, there were participants from banking, there were participants from nursing, from the charity sector. And I think that everybody had a really unique insight into what digital leadership meant for them and what digital transformation meant for their sector. And I think it kind of forced you to think beyond your own industry a little bit. We were kind of able to work as small groups within the program. So at the very start of the program, we were assigned into smaller groups of 5. And for the entire period of the program, we worked in those project groups on different assignments to look at different topics, to look at producing different papers for various different challenges that were set for us. And I think overall, I felt that to be the really most enjoyable part of the program, because it forced you in a way to collaborate and to listen to other viewpoints and other people outside of your industry. And I think that was a huge benefit to me and a huge benefit to the type of role that I would have within the tech sector. In terms of how I've kind of applied what I've learned from the program, since I've kind of returned and come back into my organization, I think that a lot of the techniques that I was looking at during the actual program itself, a lot of the case studies that we covered in the program, I've started to use those myself with my own teams in my own organization. For example, one of the key topics that we talked about and what we learned about was design thinking. And before I entered the overall program, design thinking was not something that I really understood very well, though I had, heard about it quite a bit. It's a common topic within the tech industry. But since then, I've tried to apply design thinking in some of the workshops that we're doing, let's say, within my own organization. And in terms of then, competence transfer, I've tried to take a lot of the learnings, a lot of the techniques, a lot of the frameworks that I have gone through in this program, and I've tried to, in a way, bring those into the organization and spread the knowledge about those particular frameworks and techniques to other people in my organization. And in fact, I think that one net result from all of that is that we're probably going to have our next off-site strategy meeting probably at the IMI, and we will incorporate aspects of the digital leadership program in that off-site meeting, because I think a lot of the subjects that are covered within the program are all extremely applicable, no matter whether you're a salesperson, a project manager, an account manager, or a technical engineer, for example. So I think there's a lot of large scale applicability for a lot of the type of topics that we were covering. The other thing I wanted to kind of comment on was the transformation project. I think that a large part of the program is very hands-on. I mean, there's obviously the learning part where you're looking at, case studies, and you're looking at frameworks, and you're looking at, examples in the industry of how things worked or how things failed. But I think one of the most interesting things was we were given the opportunity to design and essentially construct a digital transformation project ourselves that was applicable to our own business and our own, let's say, sector. Now, this was very challenging because if you haven't thought about how to, construct a digital transformation project from the outset, it can be quite daunting. But I think there was a lot of support given to participants like myself in trying to go through the phases of understanding in terms of design and implementation and follow-up and measurement and so forth. So it was quite an interesting journey to start by not having really an idea of how you would implement or even design a digital transformation project. And then at the very end of the program, after 6 or 7 months, to look back and to be able to say, okay, I was able to progress through each phase of a project, from the very outset, make it applicable for the kind of sector that I work in, and really understand how transformation works at the grassroots level, as opposed to, at a theory level. So that was quite an interesting challenge, and probably a large benefit to me of the program. The other thing that I wanted to say about the program is that I felt it was extremely diverse. So the number of speakers that we had and the number of topics that we covered, I mean, it's challenging in terms of, time and effort, but the amount of speakers, the amount of topics, and the diversity of those speakers that we had were all excellent. So through each month that we had assignments, and through each month that we had studies to do and papers to submit, a lot of the material that we were getting from these speakers was extremely useful. And then we were able to take a lot of those topics and actually bring them back into our organization and sort of solve every day, every week problems that we're experiencing within our own organization. So overall, I think it was a pretty unique and very enjoyable experience. I certainly would be investigating doing another diploma. I know that you can progress through several diplomas, and I think you can work towards an overall master's in business. I think you do one, if not two modules, and then you do a research project. And I think that a lot of the participants that I spoke to and I worked with during the program seem to be looking at that as a sort of a path to getting their masters. And it's certainly something that I would probably do next year now in 2023, probably do my second diploma and then work onwards from there.